You ever look at something and just know it wouldn't exist without you? That's how I felt every time I saw a bottle of Big Smoky's barbecue sauce sitting on a grocery shelf. That smoky gold label, the bold script logo that curled like a trail of campfire smoke, that was all me. My hands, my laptop, my time. And I did it for free. Because it was family. My name's Tarek. I'm 30 now, but back when my dad first started experimenting with barbecue sauce, I was 24. Fresh out of a community college design program, I had basically taught myself more than graduated from. I was freelancing here and there, logos, posters, some early website stuff. Nothing fancy. But when my dad started bringing mason jars of sauce to cookouts, telling everyone he was thinking of getting serious, I saw an opportunity. Not just for him. For us. I was raised by this man. Hardworking, loud in a lovable way, the type who always had a towel over his shoulder even when he wasn't cooking. I loved him, even when we clashed, and we clashed a lot. But this felt like a bond. Something we could build together. So when he said he needed help making it look legit, I didn't hesitate. I designed the logo. I hand-lettered the brand name. I built the Shopify site from scratch. I photographed the product. I even mocked up mock-ups so he could pitch to local stores. All unpaid, of course. I didn't even think to ask for money. This was for us. Back then, it was mason jars with handwritten labels. Now it's a six-figure brand. They got picked up by a distributor 2 years ago. The website I built, which was only supposed to be temporary, according to him, started pulling in hundreds of orders a week. Then came the local grocers. Then regional ones. Then Amazon. It blew up. And not once, did my dad sit me down to talk ownership. I didn't say anything at first. I told myself, you're overthinking. He'll make it right. He's just busy. But then I noticed something. At a family barbecue, the irony, I know he was introducing the brand to someone like this. Yeah, I built it up from nothing. Just a dream, man. Just hard work and the right people. No mention of me. Not even a nod in my direction. I didn't want to believe it. I figured maybe he just forgot in the moment. But it kept happening. One time, he even said, I had to hire a designer to get the label looking clean. Hire? I confronted him lightly that night, tried to keep it casual. Hey, just so we're clear, you remember I did all that work for you, right? He scoffed. Of course I remember. You did good, son. I appreciate it. But appreciate it how? I asked. Because the sauce is a real business now. Maybe we should formalize things. His jaw stiffened. What do you mean? I mean, maybe I could get a small percentage of the business. Or at least license fees for the logo and site. Just so we're on the level. He went silent, totally still, then said, let's not ruin a good thing by talking money, Tarek. This is family. I smiled, but something inside me cracked a little. A few days later, I brought it up again. Gently. Okay, maybe not equity, but let's talk about licensing. I made all the visual stuff. That's still my IP. We can write something up. Keep it simple. He didn't answer. That night, I got the voicemail. I'll never forget how cold it sounded. Tarek. Christmas is OFF. If you really think you can hold the company hostage with your little art project, then you can talk to my lawyer. Don't call me until you've come to your senses. I played it twice. Then a third time. Then I sat back in my chair and just stared at my ceiling. He really thought I was bluffing. I didn't respond. I didn't argue. Instead, I opened up the USPTO website and checked the trademark registry. The logo? Unregistered. The packaging design? Unprotected. The website? Still tied to my email and hosting credentials. It hit me like a punch to the chest. Not because I was excited, but because I was right. He'd never formalized anything. Never paid me. Never even credited me. And now he wanted to cut me out like I was some temp who had overstayed his welcome. So I did what any self-respecting creative would do. I called a lawyer. He wasn't fancy, just a local guy I knew from a networking event, but he knew intellectual property. I explained the situation. Sent him the files, the dates, the working files, even emails from my dad asking me to make the logo more poppy. He whistled low and said, yeah, you got a case. Want to file a DM stay? I nodded. He filed the paperwork. Within 2 weeks, Big Smoky's Amazon listing was gone. The e-commerce sites I had originally connected through my account? Suspended for legal dispute. Local stores got cease and desist notices claiming that the brand was under IP conflict and shouldn't be restocked until resolved. My dad lost thousands in orders. I didn't say a word publicly. I didn't gloat. I didn't even respond to his text when they switched from threats to begging. But then the Facebook post came. It was a picture of an empty shelf where his bottles used to be, captioned, "My son is tearing this family apart over a font. I built this from scratch. Now he's trying to steal it with legal tricks. Sad what money does to people." I didn't respond. I just watched as cousins and aunts and old family friends started weighing in. Some took his side. Some asked questions. But the loudest voices were strangers, designers, creatives, small business owners. One woman commented, "He built your brand, and you didn't even cut him in? That's theft, not family." I still didn't respond. I was waiting for the right moment. And when it came, I didn't waste words. Just one clean tweet. Built the brand. Got erased. Now I'm reclaiming it. Hashtag know your worth. That's when everything changed. The tweet wasn't meant to go viral. It was more like therapy, a digital exhale after weeks of watching my dad paint me as the villain. I didn't tag him. I didn't post a screenshot of his voicemail. I just told the truth, the way I saw it. But within hours, it started picking up steam. First, a few likes. Then a retweet from a design influencer I'd followed for years. Then a thread started trending. Designers? Ever been stiffed by family? This story hit hard. By morning, the tweet had 40,000 likes. By lunch, I had 87 unread DMs. And one of them made my heart stop. It was from Carla Mendoza, the founder of Sear, a wildly successful spicy condiment startup that had blown up after a Shark Tank appearance. She'd followed me, then messaged. "Saw your story. Loved your style. You free to consult?" I reread it 3 times. Then I closed the app and just sat there, staring out my window, trying to process what was happening. I'd gone from being the silent partner in a family project to the main character in a cautionary tale gone viral. People were sharing their own horror stories, logos stolen by friends, websites hijacked by exes, brand deals that never included the creatives. My story had cracked open something a lot of people had been holding in. And then came the pushback. Of course it did. I got messages from uncles. "You're making this public? That's your father, Tarek. Old family friends. This could ruin his business. Is it worth that much to you?" Even my mom called me crying. Not angry, just exhausted. "Can't you two just talk? Work it out." But we had talked. I tried. And he hung up the phone with a threat. Meanwhile, Dad doubled down. He posted a selfie with a fresh batch of bottles, scribbled over labels, captioned, "New label drop. Same sauce. No drama." Except the drama was there. You could taste it in every comment. "This new design sucks. Wow, bro. You really fired your own son. Should have paid the man who made you look like $1,000,000. It was surreal. Some part of me kept waiting for the guilt to land, like maybe I'd wake up and feel bad. But it never came. Instead, I felt this strange calm. Not joy, not revenge. Just clarity. I wasn't destroying anything. I was reclaiming what I built. One of the biggest DMs I got was from a local print shop owner. He said he'd been following the story and wanted me to design their new visual identity. Paid, of course. Then another message. Then another. By the end of the week, I had 5 new clients and more meetings booked than I'd had in months. It was like all the years I spent quietly doing good work in the shadows suddenly exploded into recognition, all because I finally stood up. Meanwhile, Dad's lawyer reached out. The email subject line said, "Proposal to resolve ownership dispute." He offered me $10,000 in goodwill compensation in exchange for full IP rights and a mutual NDA. I didn't even finish reading the document. I forwarded it to my lawyer with a short message. Decline. He can license the design if he wants to, under my terms. My lawyer replied, "Copy. If they push back, we'll file a formal copyright registration to solidify." Then came the kicker. I got a LinkedIn message from a regional grocery chain buyer I used to pitch with my dad, back when we were still partners. It said, "Saw the controversy. We're pulling the brand until ownership is resolved. But if you ever start your own line, we're interested." That one hit me in the chest. I never thought about launching my own sauce line. That was his dream, not mine. But now? Now it felt like a door swinging open. Around the same time, I heard from my cousin Miles, the only one in the family who really got what I did. He sent me a voice note. "Yo, I'm just gonna say it. Proud of you. Not everyone would have handled this as calmly as you have. Dude tried to freeze you out like you were a temp. Screw that. You're the reason that brand even looked legit. You good with money? I know some investors." I laughed. Then I cried. Then I called him. We talked for hours about brands, business, values, future moves. By the end of that call, I knew one thing for sure. I was done asking for permission. If my dad wanted to treat this like war, fine. But I wasn't in it to fight. I was in it to build. I started work on a new portfolio site, showcasing all the projects I'd contributed to, Big Smokies included, with a clear label, design and branding by me. No longer affiliated. The traffic on that page tripled in 2 days. And then came Carla Mendoza's follow-up email. Subject: ready to make something spicy? Inside, an NDA, a project brief, and a rate that made my jaw drop. I signed it that night. I still hadn't spoken to my dad. He hadn't called, and I wasn't about to make the first move. Then, on a random Thursday, I got a text from an unknown number. Proud of you. Wish it didn't have to go this way. No name. No context. But I knew it was him. I didn't reply. Because for once, I didn't need to. A month passed. Then 2. By now, the chaos had settled, at least on my end. Carla's team flew me out to LA twice to work on her new sub-brand. It was like stepping into another universe. Collaborative meetings where people actually thanked me, where ideas weren't hijacked, where my name went on decks, and where checks cleared before the mock-ups were even approved. It was everything I used to dream about while watching my dad take credit for the packaging I designed. Meanwhile, back home, Big Smokies was tanking. I didn't follow it obsessively, but people sent me screenshots. His new label designs looked rushed, like clip art mixed with Microsoft Word fonts. His website was replaced with a single ugly landing page saying, "Coming soon." Bigger, better, bolder. But it stayed coming soon for weeks. Even some of the local shops stopped carrying him. And every time someone tried to post a positive review, someone else would reply with a link to my tweet. The story had legs, and people weren't forgetting. And still, I hadn't talked to him. Not even once. Until the day I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. The handwriting was unmistakable. Tarek, I know you don't want to hear from me. I get that now. I'm not good at saying sorry, but I'm worse at losing. And I lost. Not just the brand. I lost you. When you were a kid, I used to think you were soft. Too sensitive. You always needed fairness. I never knew how to deal with that, because no one ever gave me anything fair growing up. So when you came to me asking for a piece of something I thought I built, it felt like you were trying to take what little I had. I was wrong. You didn't take anything. You made it what it was. You made me look good. I miss you, son. I really do. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. If you don't, I understand. Love. Dad. I didn't know what to do with it. I reread it 10 times, then put it in a drawer. It didn't undo anything. It didn't erase the voicemail or the lawyer threats or the Facebook posts. But it was the first time he'd admitted what everyone else already knew. I wasn't soft. I was just done being silent. 2 days after the letter, his lawyer emailed again. This time the subject line read, "Equity settlement proposal." Different tone, different offer. 10% stake in Big Smokies. Ongoing licensing fees. Back pay. It looked real this time. Like they were serious. But it was too late. Distributors had pulled out. Stores weren't ordering. And honestly, I didn't want a piece anymore. I didn't want to be stitched back into something that was never truly mine. My reply was short, respectfully declining. Please consider a licensing agreement if you'd still like to use my designs going forward. Otherwise, I wish you well. No malice. Just business. I was done playing the guilt game. Done waiting for family to treat me like more than just a convenient free labor pool. And people noticed. That same week, I got a request to speak at a local business panel, creative ownership and family ventures. Then a podcast invite. Then 2 more client inquiries. I wasn't just a designer anymore. I was a story. And maybe that's what stung the most for my dad. Not that I beat him, but that I stopped playing his game and built a new one. One where I was the author. One afternoon, I walked into a specialty grocery in a new neighborhood, just browsing, no agenda. But I saw it on the shelf, Big Smokies. Old stock, fading label, no restock tags. It made me feel nothing, really. I just nodded and kept walking, because what I'd really built wasn't on those shelves anymore. It was in my inbox, my bank account, my voice. Later that night, I tweeted one more thing. Quiet. Honest. If they think you're ungrateful for asking to be paid, you were never family, you were staff. The replies poured in. But I didn't need the validation. I already had it. I was booking more work than ever. Clients who respected me. A reputation as a no BS brand builder. and a growing sense that my name finally meant something. Not because my dad gave it to me, but because I'd reclaimed it myself. It's been a year since the voicemail. A full year since I heard his voice dripping with entitlement, telling me Christmas was off, as if that was some kind of punishment. Like he was the one doing me a favor, canceling my seat at the table I helped build. And in that year, I've learned something nobody tells you. When you stop asking for respect and start demanding it, people don't always clap. Sometimes they go silent. Sometimes they leave. And sometimes they lash out because your boundaries threaten the story they've been telling themselves. But you do it anyway. You hold the line. And eventually, the world adjusts. My work took off. The Carla Mendoza project turned into a long-term partnership, not just branding, but product design, social rollouts, digital strategy. She introduced me to 2 other founders. Then one of them introduced me to a VC-backed food collective, and suddenly I had more inbound leads than I could handle. I stopped calling myself just a graphic designer. Now I'm a brand strategist, a creative partner, a business owner. And I charge like one. One of the most unexpected things? The DM I got from a high school art teacher I barely remembered. She wrote, "Tariq, saw your story through my nephew. Proud of how you handled it. I still remember you arguing with a substitute once about copyright in 11th grade. Looks like you were always ahead of your time." It made me laugh. That 11th grade kid had no idea what was coming. Just a sharp mouth and a half-broken laptop with Photoshop CS6 pirated from Reddit. And yet, somehow he made it. The hardest part? It wasn't the legal fight, or the family gossip, or even the guilt. It was realizing my dad saw me as optional, expendable, like a plug-in he could delete when the trial ended. And yet, after everything, there was still a part of me, some stupid, scarred part, that wanted him to see me. Not the version he constructed. Me. But he never called. He sent the one letter, made the one offer, but never picked up the phone to say, "You were right." And that's okay, because I don't need that anymore. I saw a new bottle design from Big Smoky's online recently. Total rebrand. Different name, even. Smoky Legacy. Different label, different vibe. It's like he's trying to pretend the old version never existed. It's failing from what I hear. But I'm not rooting for that. I'm not rooting against him. I'm just not playing the same game. The game now is build what lasts. I've got a wait list for clients. I hired my first assistant. I've got plans for my own digital course, helping other designers protect themselves before they get chewed up and spit out by family-run favor factories. And yeah, I'm toying with the idea of my own sauce line. I mean, why not? Branding? Check. E-commerce? Done it. Flavor ideas? Been stewing in my head for years. And if I do launch it, it'll have my name on it, my vision, my equity, my IP. And maybe I'll send him a bottle. No note, no message, just the label, clean and confident, designed by the son he underestimated. Because here's the truth he never understood. I wasn't trying to take anything from him. I was trying to build with him. He chose war. I chose worth. He wanted to play hardball. I was just protecting what was mine. Christmas was off. So was my silence.